Jenny Green, weekdays from 3 on 2FM.
The sound of the nation.
And welcome back. So, many people's careers have ground to a halt, as we know, during the current lockdown, with many Irish comedians falling into this category. But one comedian has bucked the trend and has never been busier. Danny O'Brien joins me now to tell us how he did it. Danny, how are you?
Hey Jenny, how are things?
I'm good. It's so good to hear from you. I've been glued to your Facebook pretty much for your gigs and also your cooking. My God, I'm going to get to the cooking in a moment because it was a talent I was unaware of. But talk to me firstly. Obviously, the clubs are closed, the festivals are being cancelled. So, where did you come up with the idea? Because this is genius.
So basically, I was supposed to be in New Zealand right now on a 5-week tour, and everything got stopped, as you said. So we were asked to do, I've been doing a lot of kind of online charity gigs and just various different bits and pieces to keep tipping over during the lockdown. And then we were asked, myself and Damien Clark were asked to do an outdoor gig for Pieta House's Stay Day, which went really well. And then one of the residents from one of the flats that's kind of close to there in Irishtown had been doing bingo. And he said, would you come down and do a comedy set in George Reynolds at Irishtown? And we were a little bit... And we said that, we were like, to be honest, there's not many comics that I'd be comfortable doing it with because it's tough, like, you know what I mean? It's outside. There's kids milling around on scooters. It's not like your regular comedy gig. And it went really, really well. We got a couple of clips on it that kind of went a bit viral, and Chortle, a UK website, kind of got a hold of it. And then we did another gig for frontline staff in Wexford. We got permission from the guards, by the way, before anyone starts tweeting.
And you know what? You're right to say that because that's the first text I'll get in from someone. So we've got that. So you had permission.
Yeah, written permission for any Karens out there. I'll send you the photo of the letter. And, we did a gig in a car park for the frontline staff of Super Value Wexford on Saturday. That was deadly crack. And I think there was about 60 of them all sitting socially distanced and all that kind of stuff. And we did another gig then in the flats in Irishtown on Sunday. So it was great. Like, it's absolutely flying.
As you said there, the clips have gone viral. I have a small bit of a clip now. We've had to bleep out some of it from the Rings End gig. Have a listen to this, just for the atmosphere even.
Look at those shorts, man. Do you work for the council? The top half of you looks like a bouncer and the bottom half of you looks like you're going to electric picnic.
Oh, you're a brave man, Danny, I'll tell you that much. So how does the gig actually work? I mean, how do you manage to kind of get everyone, and do you mark out lines and spots, or how does it go?
Yeah, for the one in Irishtown, for example, they've kind of made X's on the ground with chalk, like when you were a kid and you'd be drawing X's and O's on hopscotch, essentially. It's like a social distance in hopscotch. And then the one in Wexford was the same. Now, luckily, Wexford was a car park, so like a car width is roughly 2 meters anyway. So they just kind of marked it out along that. And everyone sits, obviously, if they're in couples, and in the flats, everyone's in the balconies. So they live together anyway. So they kind of come out onto their balcony and they're all separate anyway. So they stand beside each other if they live together, or, you know, stuff like that. And that's it pretty much. So we're doing some for some like companies and stuff as well. So like, yeah, we're flat out with emails. It's been really good crack.
And then the material that you're doing, is this kind of your normal routine, or have you tweaked it just for the current situation that we're in? Is there funny things that you have found in the darkest moments, I suppose, right now?
Without a doubt. Like, I was doing material on Saturday about the possibility of someone hooking up in the car park whilst we were doing a gig in the car park, because it was like a work. But this isn't even a joke. The last time first time I ever gigged in Wexford, someone actually robbed the wheel arch off my car whilst I parked in that car park. And then like 5 years later, I'm standing there doing a gig where someone had robbed the wheel arch off my crappy Toyota Corolla. And I was just there going, how has my life changed and come to this? Like,
it's funny the amount of things that have changed, and also the sort of the small things that you just took for granted that you're like, God, like what's the thing, would you say, apart from obviously family and friends, what are you missing the most?
Like the live gigging, absolutely, and I'm sure you're the same. Like, especially with festivals, I've been listening to some of your playlists on Spotify. They've been getting me through some runs and making me nostalgic for Electric Picnic and stuff. But like I've done loads of online gigs and stuff like that, and they're grand. You know, don't get me wrong. But for me, live gigging is the thing that I've missed the most. But it's coming back. I'm doing an outdoor gig this weekend for Drive-In as well, the first ever one in Ireland for the Laughter Lounge. and then the garden gigs as well. So it is coming back slowly but surely.
So drive-in, this is actually that makes it easy, I suppose. Everyone, I'm guessing, is in their cars.
Yeah, so they set their frequency to the PA system. So say, I don't even know what it's going to be. I won't tell anyone now in case everyone in Castleknock just changes their car radio. So yeah, that's basically it. And you'll videographer films you, so you get projected onto the screen so they can see you. It's like driving at the movies, but it's a really cool idea. So they sold out 2 shows on Friday, and they've plans for more. So it's going to be 100 cars, I think.
Mm-hmm. And are you going to have people with their windows down? Because my concern is that what happens if you don't hear them laughing and then you can't get the feedback?
I've decided that I tell people if they're laughing to flash the lights, just so we can, because if I tell people to beep, they'll just keep beeping over punchlines and ruin the gig. But it's going to be a weird scene because I'm hosting it, so whoever I'm bringing on stage, I think it's Enya Martin and Eric Lawler and Totally Wired. So when I'm bringing them on, there's just going to be loads of cars like flashing at them.
This is going to be brilliant. And then did I also hear that the community down in Ringsend have you and Damien gardening now?
They give us an allotment, absolute legends.
Wow!
So we've now thrust into middle age. We're essentially pensioners now. We've this little company we set up. It's called Garden Gigs Ireland, but now we actually have our own legit little garden. And we've done loads of gigs for them, and they're so sound, and they're such incredible people and an amazing community. And now we're going to be doing a little bit of garden, growing our own food and all. It's going to be great.
Growing your own food, and now you can also cook the food that you've grown. I was totally unaware of your food background. Tell us a little bit about this, because you've been doing reviews for Lovin Dublin and Lovin.ie, and it was only when I saw some of the recipes that you were putting up online, I thought, my God, he's after getting really bored. But I'd no idea that this talent was there, because it's not just kind of something thrown together. These are impressive meals.
I'm more obsessed than talented, Jenny, to be honest with you.
They look great now, I'll be honest. They look better than anything I'd be able to put together.
If I didn't act, the only reason I exercise is so I can eat more cheese. That's what it's always been about. But I was in America when all this when it kind of hit the fan, I suppose. And I actually flew back on Paddy's Day because it was the only flight I could get. And on the 18th of March, I said I'm going to do a different recipe every day until the end of the lockdown, not thinking that
you're regretting that one now, I'd say.
2 months. So I did 60 days straight of a different recipe every day. And to be honest, some days I was like, oh no. But it was worth it. I learned loads. I'm writing a cookbook at the moment. It got a huge response online. People started making the recipes and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to run a little competition. I think whoever can recreate the best recipe, I'm going to probably try and do my solo show for them in their gaff as a prize. So that's something I'm working on at the moment. This
is brilliant. So to be honest, I dare I say it, but the lockdown hasn't been too bad to you then so far. Things are going well.
Yeah, it was initially it was awful. I didn't know we were all so lost and just going, what are we gonna do? Because I love live gigging is my bread and butter. It's what I've been doing for the last 12 years, and that's the one thing you can't do. So all of us, no matter what we're doing, have had to diversify and change. And I think it's good in a lot of ways because it kind of forces you to mix things up a little bit and explore other skills and other things, to stay busy.
So if people want to check out Instagram, your Crisis Eats, they're all up there on DOB Comedy. And if anybody would like a personalised gig in the garden, there's an email address. Can people just are you going to be flooded now?
We're better than that. We've got it all. We've got a website, a Facebook and Instagram. The website's hopping. It's just called GardenGigsIreland.com. So that's for all online and outdoor gigs. Gardens, car parks, you name it.
Well, Danny, I was going to say, hopefully we'll have you in when lockdown is over into the studio again. But to be honest, I think you're going to be so busy that I'm not sure when we're going to see you again.
I'll see you in the car park in RTE. We'll do an outdoor gig. You can DJ at the end.
I'm there. That is a date. Consider it done. Danny O'Brien, it's a pleasure as always. And it's lovely just to hear you lift everyone's spirits and continue to do so. And I'm going to definitely try one or two of your recipes, and we'll keep an eye out for the book. Do we know when that might be out? Is that going to be next year?
I am talking to a couple of publishers at the moment. Yeah, let's definitely say next year.
Let's say next year. Lovely. Danny O'Brien, thank you so much as always. Take care and mind yourself. And there you go. You can find out all the details. They are online. DOB Comedy anyway is where it is on Instagram. And the email address is gardengigsdublin@gmail.com. He is going to be flooded. He's going to regret that.